So for the last time this week,
Mm.
last week we weren't here. Mark was playing around in the carnival, doing his carnival sort of things, and I wasn't.
Mm.
And I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was somewhere else.
Yes.
Here we go. Then I don't like those people who try to predict the future. And although I do see myself doing it from time to time, which I'm not proud,
Yeah.
it seems that things are coming together for the US to make a strike on Iran. Around the time when visitors accompanied Venezuelan President Maduro on his state visit to the
Yeah.
US, the Iranian people began to revolt on the streets of downtown Tehran. And Trump gave some sage advice to the Islamist regime:
Mm.
do not kill your own people who are demonstrating. It seems the advice fell on deaf ears, and as the popular revolt intensified, the Iranian mullahs opened fire, and according to some reports, around 40,000 demonstrators were killed.
Yeah.
Now, it must be said that often news reports are exaggerated from that neck of the woods.
Mm.
But we all know it doesn't take much to pull triggers over there either. So we work with what we can get from the press.
Yeah.
Yesterday, before the State of the Union address by Trump, CIA Director John Ratcliffe and Secretary Marco Rubio had a classified meeting about Iran. Also present were bipartisan leaders of Congress and chairs and ranking members of intelligence committees. Today, Rubio will brief the top lawmakers at the White House. The US is weighing its options. Now, also today, there is to be a meeting in Geneva between representatives of the US and Iran, and a lot will depend on what happens at this meeting. So, as well as a flotilla of ships already sent to the region, in a rare move, the US deployed F-22 Raptor fighter jets to southern Israel. Now, this plane is the most advanced that the US has, to put it in perspective. So it looks like, unless there's a major change in
Yeah.
circumstances, an attack is imminent. Now, very rarely a country will spend so much money to send all their troops to one neck of the woods just to come home empty-handed. So I believe that the US are thinking that this meeting today in Geneva is not going to go very well for the Iranians. And I think that's going to be the start of it'll be a quick attack. And of course, the US will probably use it as a calling card for the rest of the world to say, behave yourselves.
Yeah.
This is what we can do with
Mm.
with Iran, sorry. And so I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
It seems I'm just trying to join the dots, and hopefully, I'll get a horse when it should be a car.
Well, okay. As to deployment of um, military assets anywhere, from the US point perspective, it's either a glorified training exercise. I mean, they would have presence in the region anyway. It depends on what percentage more is there, what they're doing. Um, Given that a battle fleet, an American battle fleet, is a pretty comprehensive overall attack thing, even when it's standing, just doing nothing. Yeah, the possibility there. If you've watched any program when they go on, yeah, I mean they're always on operational readiness
Yeah, they
anywhere in
did
the
send
world.
backup, by the way. The US sent backup
Well,
ships as well.
well, that's it. I mean, yeah. So they've actually done something and publicly said we are sort of meaning a bit of business here. Yeah, we're not we're we're doing a bit more than a training exercise. Okay, they've got the assets to do that. On the other hand, it's better to have your ship's out sailing. I mean, ships don't do well in dry dock, and you got to keep it. You keep your military personnel busy, trained. You know, they do on job training and everything else. Yeah, they don't get dry, as you could say. Yeah, they don't have to stay at home and paint the grass or anything else. They're actually doing something worthwhile. I don't forget when you say backup, but then they've always got a rolling program, yeah, of assets and personnel going places and everything else. I know people say, oh, it's a shame that suddenly the deployment, a 3-month deployment, ends up with a 6-month deployment, ends up in an 8-month deployment, a year. I'm afraid when you join up to any military, that's what you're signing up to. Yeah. When I was going to go into the military in the UK, that was made perfectly clear to me on my first meeting with the recruiting personnel. Now, it's like you, yeah, who can predict the future? The interesting thing about the current administration in the US, in particular, the head man, is that they are so unpredictable. They don't exactly, they'll tell you what they're preparing for, but they won't telegraph what exactly they will do. Yeah. And it keeps everyone on their toes. I know the Iranian administration is jumping up and down and saying death to this, death to that. We will sink your ships. You've got to get near them first. Yeah.
Which of course they have to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, their own people, their own population will realize they are weak,
Yeah.
and they get what they got, which is these demonstrations in the streets.
Yeah. And they're sensing it now. The US is actually avoiding getting too directly involved in what's happening internally into Iran because they don't want to see that. I think Trump would be conscious about getting involved in another Afghanistan or Iraq. Yeah.
I don't know, Mark. I mean, they sent those bombers across the other month, and and blew up those nuclear
Yeah.
bunkers.
Well, they look all the
That,
time.
that was pretty. That was pretty. That wasn't sort of trying to keep aloof.
It wasn't keeping it aloof, but it was making a very strong statement that yeah, we have the capabilities. Okay, you're not dealing with people that actually will heed that message, and that was accepted, and that's why they've had time to do a build up. I mean, straight away, Trump could say, "Well, I've sent the warning card already." Yeah,
Yeah.
I am quite. I mean, the most probably strangest image was the Cubans. No, sorry, that was in Venezuela. Yeah, but it's when they do go in. The Americans don't have to actually do too much to actually do it. I mean, they snatched the Venezuelan leader, Maduro, very easily with some good strategic planning. Okay, inside help. They also jammed all the radars and did everything else. So it is, if you like, quite a technical, a technologically advanced strike. Now, if they're capable of doing that, none of these countries or none of these dictatorships are going to have the tech to do that. A lot of these people would have. I mean, that was probably why it would scare the Russians a bit as well. The fact that they were capable of jamming the country's detection systems.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that would send a warning to the Russians as well. We can do this. I mean, the Russians have done it to the Americans. They've buzzed
Yeah. Of course.
aircraft. They've buzzed the ships and jammed the radar on them. Made it quite clear they can do that. That's a game they play. But the Iranian, I mean, really, the Iranian administration now is in a shit or, sorry for swearing, a shit or bust situation. They've either got to seem strong, get going. Half of them might even be out the country by now. In Qatar, possibly, or some other safe haven. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm grabbing a name out of the hat. Or they are, or they're cowered in a bunker somewhere, hoping that it'll all blow over. And yeah, that when the devastation happens, they'll still come out and be able to get their guards to take back control again. Yeah. It is yes, it's a very touchy situation. I do think that Trump is, on the one hand, showing he's committed. On the other hand, he probably doesn't want to get too involved if he doesn't have to. The ideal for him would be that the people on the ground manage to topple their own administration. He can then just go and pick them up and say, we want to put your control in the US because you've done some bad things to the population of the United States. Yeah. He's going to probably do everything, or the administration there's probably going to do everything far short of actually arming the general population. Because the minute you do that, you then could have another issue that they'll turn around on you, i.e. Taliban. Yeah. I think the US have learned a lot, and what's happened in Afghanistan as well. Leaving all the assets there, not even bothering to put it beyond use.
Well, I mean that was that can't be blamed on this recent administration.
No, that was on the previous one, but yeah, it was still done, and it's still weapons that are still floating around the area. Yeah,
that was through being stupid.
Well, yeah, but
rather than thinking it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, I'm thinking very carefully. I'm going to word what I'm about to what I was about to say, because I could see it being a bit controversial. Iran needs to revert back to its original pre-1979 state with regards to the top ideological thing. Maybe, I mean, the Iranian people are calling for the return of their Shah, who was a little bit of a dictator. Let's be honest about it. But
there have to be that in that part of the world.
Yeah, I mean, we can't put our values on these people directly any more than we can. Yeah, I wouldn't expect that, but I do. But yeah, the Shah returns to the balanced kind of social ideological state it was before, i.e. Zoroastrianism, Christianity, and Judaism. Bearing in mind that the second biggest Jewish population in a country outside Israel is in Iran, and they do consider themselves Iranian. Or as they want to start calling themselves are now Persian again. Yeah.
In the region of Persia, it was one of the most peaceful areas of that part of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually I've read a lot about it, and yeah, their whole philosophy about good and bad and everyone gets weighed and it's actually quite a nice view of the world, actually, to be quite honest. Says he, hoping that he doesn't get struck down by his Christian God. But yeah, it needs to revert back to that. It was an open and freer society. Women, good God, could go and have an education and get jobs and smile. Yeah. I mean, okay, have a choice. Nobody's saying you can't be have an Islamic faith as well in the country, have different things. Everything should be balanced. Everyone should have opportunities. Have it like a Israeli type society, which the Iranians are probably capable of having. But yeah, okay, this is wishful thinking. It's like you say, it's trying to look into the future. It's a what if, what could happen. The trouble is, if we start having violence in a country and create a vacuum at the top, anything can happen. I
think that depends on who takes the control.
Exactly. That's what. Yeah.
If you are going to have a massive assault on a country and take away the top brass of that country, you need to have somebody put in there to take the place straight away. If you do leave that vacuum open for too long, a lot of people are going to come and try and fill that vacuum. But if you've got somebody there straight away, then
Yeah.
you know,
Well, this was where Iran could be different. You could put the Shah back in there, and then, but you still got to have the body underneath him to do everything. Yeah. And where you're going to suddenly get that administration, because can you trust the one that's already there? You can't suddenly draw it from the population. A Western power may have to go in there and support the Shah, prop the Shah up until you can, I don't know, have elections or have appointments made of
well, if
people.
it's a Shah, there's no elections. It's a king.
Yeah, but he still needs the people beneath him, and he needs to appoint people unless they've already got the team assembled. Again, I don't know how far down the road. I mean, he keeps going on different broadcasts occasionally saying,
It's like saying to King Charles, let's try and elect your footman. It's not going to happen. He's going to choose it.
"Well, that's it." Well, okay. I mean, it depends how far in. I mean, um, yeah. I mean, it's going to be. I mean, hopefully there is a plan, an exit plan. If, for example, the US do a strike, they go in for 2 months to help everything. They have a proper exit plan. That once the Shah, for example, let's look at our crystal ball out, look into the future. Shah has taken up his office, got an administration in place. American forces have successfully trained the Iranian ones or Persian ones, whatever they want to call themselves in the future. And it's safe to say that the country is stable and it can leave. It's got a police force. Um, yes, it's going to be. The trouble is, it's going to owe the US big as well, which is another problem as well. That a lot. If
Well, you're assuming that the US is going to attack
yeah, well,
by saying that. And I mean, my point I was making at the first place is all the information I'm getting is that there will be an attack. How, in what form of that attack, I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, that's it. I mean,
But there is gonna on today on Thursday there is a meeting
yeah,
to be held. It probably still is being held at this moment in time in Geneva
yeah,
between representatives of the US and Iran. If they can come to some sort of agreement
mm.
that's binding, then But I tend to think that if the US has spent so much money of getting all the troops out there and sending their up their latest bombers out there, that they're not going to be just say, okay, lads,
Well,
let's get.
you do get the idea. This meeting will be Rubio saying it's like the Trump producing the photograph.
Somebody's house. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, almost like not quite like that, but yeah. This is only a few places we know about. Yeah. Um, you can make your own decision, guys. We know. Yeah. Um, I mean, are they going to leave then the Shah out in the cold? Are they going to go with the present administration?
Well,
Bygones be bygones,
I
and
haven't I haven't looked that far in front. I've
mm,
just looked as far as there probably is going to be an attack.
yeah. I mean, yes, it's quite you say. What kind? I mean, is it just going to be air support, take out everything that?
I don't know in what form there's going
Yeah.
to be an attack. And I suppose what happens in the future after the attack will depend on how the attack was carried out and what was done.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Iranians are going to leave the meeting today under no illusions um, that there is some sort of plan in place, even if they're not going to know the plan. That they're going to have to concede or face, yeah, hell.